What's going on, y'all? It's the Caveman back at it again with another video. And comes another week, comes another game of Bills football. It was week 7. The Bills traveled to New York to play the winless New York Jets, and we did defeat them 18-10 in a game that was probably a little closer than we would have liked to see, but nonetheless, a W is a W at the end of the day. So before the game even started this week, we had a couple really kind of questionable things go on throughout the week. We had a COVID outbreak amongst our tight ends. We had a lot of guys being hurt. We were missing 2 of our top cornerbacks in Josh Norman as well as Levi Wallace. We really weren't sure what Milano's usage would be, and we did not see much of Milano at all. To put the cherry on top, we were also without John Brown once again. We had a lot of key pieces missing this week with everything going on throughout the week. There was a lot of shit that went down before this game, so it was already going to be a questionable one, and everybody was kind of saying, like, we got to get out of this game. Like, this game could not go our way with all the shit happening, just the way we've been playing. It was kind of a little scary going into it, not going to lie. And the way it started made it even scarier because it seemed like things were kind of coming to a reality. So right before I hop into it, I'm going to do my offense, defense, positives, and negatives, the things I saw on both sides of the ball that I thought were good, that I thought were bad, that I thought could be improved on. And I want you guys to let me know what you guys think down below. So per usual, Josh Allen, 30 for 43, 370 yards. He ran for 11 rushes and 61 yards and also had a fumble. We were kind of hoping that we'd see a Buffalo Bills team as well as Josh Allen kind of bounce back from the 2 rough weeks we've had. And I wouldn't say that Allen didn't bounce back. He played a good game, a good enough game to win us the football game, obviously. So, I mean, to say he didn't bounce back would be kind of stupid because he really did. It just wasn't in, like, boom, exploding, like, look at me kind of fashion. Josh Allen was supported by strong efforts by Cole Beasley, who went 11 for 112 yards through the air, and he was our top leading receiver this week, and he had an excellent week to say the least. It seems like every time Josh needed to complete a pass, Cole Beasley was there for him, and he's kind of the security blanket of this offense as it's coming to see. And it's really good. It's really nice to have somebody like Cole Beasley on your team. I mean, he was kind of the security blanket last year, but I think him just flying even more under the radar with Diggs being here is just more fitting for a guy like Beasley. He's usually always fucking open, and he really almost always catches the ball when it's thrown his way, as long as it's accurate and catchable. So Cole Beasley really showed what he can do this game. Diggs as well, of course, his presence is just enough to be good for an offense. Like, just having him on the field is enough to be a threat to a defense. He went 6 for 48, so nothing too special, but he definitely did his job. Tyler Kroft as well had 4 for 64. Another decent game from Tyler Kroft. We've seen him have flashes here and there, and he had to step up to the plate, having all the other tight ends catch the COVID, and we had to hope that Tyler Kroft and as well as Reggie and emergency tight end Duke Williams kind of step up. Now, we really only saw Tyler Kroft, but we did see a little bit of Reggie, but Tyler Kroft mostly, and he really he did his job. He was not involved in the COVID outbreak, if you didn't know, because he was actually with his wife, who was having their 2 kids, or their 1 kid rather. Her name was Grace. So good for him, happy for him. So he kind of was a little blessed this week. He got to, be with his wife while they had their kid, and he kind of missed out on the COVID, and he had a good football game. And the Bills won. So Tyler Kroft, fucking hell of a week for you. At the beginning of the game, the Bills offense really was kind of struggling. It was really concerning because it's the fucking Jets. Once they started to run the ball, once they started giving the ball to Singletary, Moss, and even Allen just running the ball himself, once they started to do that, the offense really started to open up, and it allowed Allen to do a lot more with his arm through the air. So we did see a decent amount of rushing yards. We saw 126 on the ground, split between Allen, Moss, and Singletary. We saw a couple good runs from Moss, which I was glad to see. He's grinding for those extra couple yards, running through guys, and that's what we drafted him to do. So I'm glad that he was able to show that he has that capability, and he really can be relied on in some certain situations. Obviously, the most concerning thing about this game is the fact that we had to kick field goals to win the whole time, and we went 0 for 5 in the red zone. Now, as bad as this is, we did see Josh Allen take a couple shots toward the end zone that were a little sketchy, but I mean, I'm just glad to see that he didn't turn the ball over in the red zone. Now, we could have went 0 for 5 in the red zone and not got any points from it whatsoever by him trying to force the ball downfield in the end zone, trying to go for 7 every time, which I'm glad he didn't do because he was able to settle, just take the 3, which was fine. It ended up working for us, obviously, in the end. And we just don't want him to start forcing balls to guys that aren't open, throwing picks, just turning the ball over in important times of the game. We kind of saw a composed Allen in the red zone, which we usually do. I don't think the dude has a turnover in the red zone in his entire career, so he continued that in this game. It actually was very beneficial because he did throw to Gabe Davis on the first drive, I believe it was, in the back of the end zone, which was a very contested ball that could have easily been picked, but he kind of died down after that one. Our red zone efficiency was dog shit, but we also did go 3 for 11 on third down. Our third down conversions were just not there, but at the same time, we also never punted, so that was a good thing. And also at the same time, we did go 3 for 11 on third down, but we were not found on third down too often when we weren't already in the red zone. So we were kicking field goals from that. So 3 for 11 on third down obviously isn't good, but I mean, does that really mean very much? We were getting points at the end of the day. And where did those points come from? Nobody other than a rookie fucking kicker, Tyler Bass, who everybody fucking wants to hate for no reason, and he really shot up everybody with that game. I mean, without him, we don't win that fucking football game. Everybody's saying Hauschka's better, but I mean, he just got cut by the Jags. Who's to say that Hauschka makes any of those kicks? Like, he might make 50% of those kicks, and then all of a sudden the game is 12-10 instead of 18-10, and a lot closer of a situation. But you know what? Tyler Bass, he hit a 53-yarder. He did miss a couple. He went 6 for 8. But he's still a rookie. You got to develop kids. I mean, you can't really just... You just brought him in. You're not just going to kick him off the fucking team because he's struggling a little bit. And he definitely gained some confidence in this game, which is definitely what you need as a kicker. I mean, anybody can fucking kick the ball in the NFL. It's just about being able to do it up there. So yeah, Tyler Bass, fucking hats off to you. You're the reason why we won that game for sure. And I'm glad to see that you gained some confidence back. So the defense, my favorite side of the ball, to say the least, if you have not realized that from watching my videos, if you are a consistent watcher. I definitely am a defense defender, if that makes any sense. I do not like the defense slander as much as they've been getting this year because I feel like it's not warranted. Now, they did have a sketchy first half. We went down 10-0 at one point. That was also due to the offense not scoring, but at the same time, we did go down 10-0 to the Jets, and the defense were the ones giving up those 10 points. So it was a little sketchy. But then once halftime hit, the Jets went into fold mode, or the defense went into transformer mode. And I'm going to guess it was the defense because they came out and they made the Jets defense just look fucking silly. They had 4 net yards in the second half. 4 yards. 4 fucking positive yards. That is unreal. No matter how bad a football team is, even if it's the fucking Jets, holding a defense, or holding an offense rather, to only 4 yards in an entire half of football, that's a great fucking defense playing right there. Darnold's last 10 passes, he completed 1 pass for 4 yards, and he had 2 interceptions. So the defense really showed out in that second half. We had a couple guys really step up, really do some things that we really haven't seen them do all season. And for a guy like Dane Jackson, we haven't even seen all season, period. So for him to step up, he had a pick. Just for him to do that, you know, when we had Levi Wallace and Josh Norman down, like I said, for somebody to step up in their place the way he did was excellent to see, and I really believe he should be moved up to the 53-man roster. And Jerry Hughes, I know a lot of people have been kind of, hating on Jerry Hughes a little bit this season, but that was not a good game to hate on Jerry Hughes for. If you're a Jerry Hughes hater, you probably were hiding for most of that game. Jerry Hughes led our defense in almost every single category. He had a pick off the Quentin Jefferson deflection, 3 QB hits, 2.5 tackles for losses, and 6 total tackles. So Jerry Hughes for sure. If you're a Jerry Hughes hater, you definitely were hiding in a bush somewhere, or you were just hiding in a closet, because he had an excellent football game, and that's what we need from a guy like him. We really have not seen much of him. We really haven't heard his name too much, but for him to have a bounce back game like that is definitely good to see. On the last 2 points I really want to touch on real quick is Tremaine Edmonds, not a bad game. People have been a little sketched out by his play. There have been a couple times throughout this year where he's really dropped some interceptions he really should be catching. He needs to hit the jug machine, because those picks could have really changed the tide of a couple of the games we've been in, and I think he dropped 2 picks this past game where we could have had even more points. I mean, like, we won, so it really doesn't matter, but in a closer game, in a game that really matters more, those 2 picks could be very big in the outcome of how the game ends up. I think he also dropped one against the Chiefs, or he could have had one. He could have been very close to having one. So definitely, Tremaine, you hit the jug machine, my guy. The last thing is the Micah Hyde hit. It was one of those situations where it was such a bang play, and the way it sounded, the way it looked, the way Brashad Perriman went flying, it was almost like the refs had no choice but to throw the flag. And it's like the bangness of the play, the way it looked, sounded, the flag is going to come out no matter what in that kind of scenario. Obviously, upon the replay, it was clear, at least in my opinion, as well as other Bills fans. And I think just in general, it was really just a clean hit. It really was. I mean, he really didn't hit Brashad directly in the head. It was a little high. But I don't think Brashad Perriman's head was what took the most hit from that. It's like, it was a buddy pass from Sam Darnold. Micah Hyde's running full speed at the guy, and he meets him at the ball. There's really not much else that Micah Hyde is going to do there. I mean, if he goes any lower, I mean, who knows what could happen. If he intends on hitting him lower, he could hit him in the legs and take his fucking knee out. Like, I mean, I think it was a clean hit. It could have ended up a lot worse than it was. I just think the flag came out for the simple fact that it just looked bad. Let me know what you guys think down below about the game. I'm on the side of a W is a W. I'm not going to get into how bad we didn't score on offense or any of that bullshit. We won the game. Move on to the next one. Forget about this one. We have a tough stretch ahead of us. Next week, we play the struggling Cam Newton and Patriots. Now, that's a game we should absolutely win. And I think that this would be considered a trap game because the Patriots really are not good. They're really, really not. So we really need to come out of that game with a win. And that would be kind of another confidence boost to lead into the tougher stretch of the season. So we definitely need to come out of that one with a win. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. I'll see y'all later with the next video. Peace!